So I have to state this just for the record that I don't believe in that these leaks are real. I just want to take this time at the beginning of the video to express that these are just two cool ideas that I wanted to talk about and see just if there's any truth behind them. So there's two of them, but they all kind of point towards the same direction. Does that give them merit? Maybe, but again, these are leaks, so please only take these with a grain of salt. But I just thought it'd be cool to read over what these may be. So enjoy the video.
Curse you! Curse your mother! I will bite your head down your throat! You Odin himself would you to the ground!
Let's look at the supposed leak called the Veil of Shadows. I mean, it's not called the Twilight Empire, which is a little bit disappointing, but of course this is a better word, a better name, which is probably gonna be better for them. So let's read this right here. So it says Magni Bronzebeard, like you can see on the side here, it says the Codex of Creation, warships. I'll talk about that in a bit. Expansion features, media, heroes and villains. So this is supposed to be a leak from, I guess, the website that's supposed to be coming out. The Hand of the Earthbreaker. The hammer of Khazgoroth was seized by Magni Bronzebeard as soon as he returned to Azeroth. Suspected to be an uncontrollable defense mechanism from the World Soul, he was trusted to take it within the Molten Core in Blackrock Mountain, but the Seed of Darkness has rooted deep in Azeroth, and the horrible truth has been revealed that the King of Diamonds has been deceived, which is what Il'gynoth said was supposed to happen, that he was going to be the one to I guess, set in motion the coming of N'Zoth. The whispers from the earth brought the darkness into Magni's mind. Now, something Dwarven Lord. It's kind of cut off. I could see him being a boss, maybe, but that's just only like the beginning of it. This could all be fan made. If it's fan made, it's really good. I love these fan made ones. So let's read about some of the things that they have here. So, of course, the expansion would be called, according to this leak, the Veil of Shadows. Across the new waking world, shadows fall. Since the cataclysm, the wreckage recovered, and the kingdoms are prosperous. For a time, the people felt unity in the defeat of the Dark Titan, but once more the widespread realms of Azeroth suffer great turmoil. A mysterious darkness perverts the land, afflicting the emotions of its inhabitants. That right there throws me off a little bit. That was basically Mob, right? So, I mean, it could be possible, but N'Zoth doesn't seem like he's the one to take your emotions. That was more of a Y'Shaarj thing. N'Zoth seems a little different. Of course, this is probably all fake, but let's see what kind of truth. Maybe some things could happen from this. Let's just read it. Let's continue. Take charge, and the many adventurers cross familiar and new lands to discover the root of evil. Manifest your power to your full potential with Titan artifacts, and set to the seas on mighty warships against your enemies. The Dragon Isles, Kul Tiras, and Nazjatar await. So, of course it says here that there'll be new Titan artifacts. I don't see them doing actual artifact weapons. Again, of course, I could be 100% wrong, but I don't see them doing artifact weapons because of the backlash they had. Maybe if they had more, like, you gotta think, they gotta make new bear forms, they gotta make new cat forms. It's a lot for the art teams, and of course they could handle it because they did a fantastic job with Legion, but I think they might want to do something different. New adventures, scaled quest system, don't want that. Creatures and kingdoms are in reworked zones across Azeroth, so it means they're going to be redoing everything again. It would make sense if they were going to add a scaled quest system, because right now it doesn't make sense to go to Outland at 1 and then come back to Azeroth, It doesn't make sense to do that. Or you could just go literally all around the zones and just, it'd be easy. But people dungeon level anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I kind of hope that doesn't happen. But again, it would make, I guess, the reworked zones might make sense, I guess. I don't know. So they have the Codex of Creation, which is a new skill and specialization progression system. So take your skills to the next level, customizing them within the Forge of Illumination. So it seems like they want more Forge, more options for us, but they have new weapon types, they say. They have new combat animations, which they added in this expansion. Class weapon combinations. Well, that would be cool. Don't know how they do it. It says here, worship. Take to the seas your own glorious worship. No. Just no. Just stop. Right here. I want this gone. Again, this is probably fake, but I can't stress that enough, that this is probably all not real. But I don't want this to be real. I don't want a warship. I'd rather have my own island or my own zone where I can build my own stuff. I don't want a warship. I'm not an admiral. That's why I guess a lot of WoD didn't work. It says flails, pistols, spellbound weapons. So flails would be really cool. We already know that they're adding flails. Pistols would be even cooler. If you put two pistols in one hand and just start going ham. Impractical, maybe. Again, that's another red flag right there. It says new class race combinations. Okay, so it says Pandaren can be Death Knights. Achievements can be shamans. Trolls can be paladins. Trolls can be priests. I guess that's likely. Night elves can be warlocks, which I don't think they would ever want to. And Draenei and Tarn as well could be warlocks. I guess Tarn might be able to. Draenei, I don't think they would ever allow Draenei warlocks, unless the lore was a lot of the Draenei on Argus surrendered and wanted to reserve the Draenei. So the Eridar joined the Draenei, and that's why there's Draeneic warlocks. And it said that Pandaren can be druids. Like, again, red flag. No, they're already bears. I'd rather see goblin druids before Pandaren. I'd rather see undead Draenei. I'd rather see a bear running around with big ass goat horns. I'd rather see that before a Pandaren just get on all fours. It's boring. It's boring. It's not interesting. But it would bring back the Death Knight and the Druid would bring back more Pandaren, I guess. Playability, because they're not doing so well. Like, they're the lowest played race in the game. It said the new characters customization features expanded with the new textures, models, animation, and voices. So maybe Goblin Worgen. New textures, but animations, that'd be cool. I always thought, like, I hate a warrior swings an axe, a mace, and a sword basically all the same way. I kind of wish that they would change it up, like even the way they hold it, but, this is taking too long. Let's get down here. A World Awakening. So let's look at the storyline. So it says, the soul of the nascent titan within Azeroth stirs as shadow threatens to consume all. Although conquered, the Dark Titan's defeat had a dire consequence. The world's torment has shattered a link in the prison of an ancient enemy. So I guess the gravity maybe did have an effect. Who knows? And the threads of chaos that led to its freedom have been drawn. It's up to you to gather knowledge of old and venture into forgotten lands to stem the tide of darkness that threatens our world, and ensure this god of the deep remains imprisoned. Makes sense. It's worded beautifully. Let's continue. Not too really red flags there. Let's just continue. There's a lot of these things, so let's just skim over this. It just says the corruption seeping into Azeroth, the new kingdoms have risen, the various threats of Azeroth have sprung around you and only beginning unfolding the stories to come. So I guess they want to recreate the world because there's more corruption, but I don't know how. I don't know how they would redo all of Azeroth and then have to revert it back, because the corruption won't be there forever, unless it's not just a bunch of tentacles out of the ground, like maybe the earth even changed even more. I guess that makes sense. You have Kul Tiras. The human isle of Kulturis has fallen to terrible darkness. Lady Jaina Proudmourne has traveled to her homeland only to find chaos. In desperate hour, Jaina calls upon the Alliance and the Horde, another red flag, to aid in the extermination of the corruption. See, Jaina is the art center of BlizzCon, which she's going to be involved in the new expansion. There's no doubt about that. She could have went to Kulturis to get answers, I guess, because she's like, you know what, F you guys, I'm going to build up my own kingdom again. Maybe Jaina becomes like her own faction, which would be pretty cool. Azshara's invading armies welcome this evil as our duty to journey to Kulturis and fight to redeem order. However, not all who land on these shores look to preserve peace. And old hatreds are rekindled. Take to the seas in your worship to dispose of your enemies and strike in the heart of shadows. Again, that I could do without all that. The Dragon Isles are enchanted lands gleaming with the remaining powers of the aspects, have fallen under the control of the infinite dragonflight. The guardian of time, Nosdormu, has fled into the time waves from their grasp. The rifts they open among the Dragon Isles in their ravenous search brings back a familiar and entirely bizarre new enemies with their own motives. The Alliance and Horde face a conflict among themselves, and the time, blah blah blah. Nosdormu is the key to reversing the damage. I guess that would make sense. Maybe Chromie's the only one who can get us in there because we had the whole Chromie scenario where I thought that she wasn't her, that it was actually somebody else, which I guess would make sense here because if Nozdormu is the key, then we have to find him, and the only person who could probably find him is Chromie, which is why he'd want her dead. Anyway, let's go Najatar. The ancient lands beneath the sea have risen to the surface in a wondrous glory. I don't know how that's going to affect the Cataclysm part of questing, but again, grain of salt, right? Queen Azara's wrath threatens all of Azeroth, basically yada yada. Storm the tides and reclaim the Tidestone and Dryland Glory Wicked Master. So they talked about the heroes and villains, the pillars of creation. Queen Azara, the Empress of Najatar, who I said that she was there to get. A lot of people speculated that she was there to retrieve the Tidestone for Sargeras. I don't see her betraying her master, N'Zoth. I see her like, no, N'Zoth is much more powerful than Sargeras. Maybe. He fears the Void Lords, though. He fears, I guess, the Old God's master. So I see this kind of being, like, this has some truth behind it. It's speculation, but it kind of makes sense in the direction. They have, Magni Brosbeer, which is what I read up there. Hakar the Soul Flare again. The tears of Elune left in the Tomb of Sargeras resting grounds have been singing quietly. Their connection to the spirit realm vibrates strong there, and the pillar has gone unnoticed from the other side. A blood-crazed evil stirs within the realm of shadows. The sanctum of an overrun with the fanatic worships from the Zandalar. That'd be cool. This would be really cool if it was real. I hate them bringing back old bad guys, but Hakar is always someone that could have had more story brought out. Then this talked about right here. Look, High Keeper Odin and Ra. I read this and I went, yes. Like, the Aegis of Aggramar, once used to shield Azeroth's soul from madness, has been taken into friendly hands by Odin and his Valnajar once again, which it should be Valniar. With the Titans imprisoned, the High Keeper has found a new purpose in uniting the remaining Keepers in their cause. Ra and Odin lead the expedition to acquire the Discs of Norgaron. This all sounds really cool. Like, even though a lot of this may not come true, this all sounds really cool. Where the gates have been evacuated, the city that lay beyond has been opened at last. Inside Uldaman, the Forge of Illumination, a Titan city locked under the deep places. That's cool. That sounds cool right there. A Titan city underneath Uldaman? That'd be really cool. Only the one step ahead, the discs have been taken by the horrors of the deep into the Forgotten Vault. They talked about the Infinite Dragonflight, the Eye of Aman'Thul. So, like, these connect. The Tears of Elune, Ages of Aggramar, the Eye of Aman'Thul. These connect everything we did on Legion. I like that. Even if this is not real, this was all very well thought out. The Eye of Aman'Thul, kept at the bottom of the tomb, was our key into the Nether in defeating the Legion, as well as the prosperity of the Nightborn. The temporal powers granted by the Eye are now in the hands of the Infinite Dragonflight, who have stolen the rings away to the Dragon Isles, where the Infinite plans to the ritual, yada yada. Let's look at some of the things. So level 1 to 110 scaling, new quest dungeons and raids are updated in Old Azeroth, especially the dungeon that I think was Cthulhu's. Damn, what's it called? The one in syphilis. It sounds like a sex disease. Oh boy, I hate myself. The Temple of Ankh-Kirach. That's it. There was rumors that was supposed to be transformed into a dungeon. Now, there's always hidden truths in those type of rumors, and that hidden truth could come out not in Legion, but after it. There was also rumors that Blackrock Depths was to get redone, and it never did until the expansion after. It would make sense, I guess, that the Temple of Ankh-Kirach would get updated. Warships, Empire and Battle of the Seas. I don't care. I hope this isn't real. Faction campaigns unlock a dramatic faction-specific story as the drums of war and thunder once again. New dungeons raised, new world bosses, level cap raised to 120, new battlegrounds. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Immediately raises the character of 110. Download the game by WoW, yeah, etc., etc. So there's a couple things in here. A bunch of red flags, but of course, this could just be well thought out. But the person that thought all this out, if this isn't real, well done. I bow my head to you, because all of this sounds awesome. And this is 5 days ago, so I'm sorry that this is late, but I just found out about it today. I always try and stay on top of the leaks because I'm always excited to see them. Um, but man, like this all sounds pretty damn cool. So the second leak that I'm going to be discussing is one that was called the Realm of Shadows. Now this one is very similar to the Magmi Bronzebeard one that I just showed you, and I'll have. Unfortunately, the links I'll have them in the description below, but they're not the most reliable of links. So, if you can find more on the internet, by all means, please do. This one was, of course, the source was a Chinese localization or a translation studio. So this one was apparently done, in that we'll see a teaser at Gamescom, not the full, probably a reveal trailer. I would say a reveal trailer, maybe even just a teaser, but they're going to show something. You know, Blizzard, they're going to show something for BlizzCon. So let's talk about this. It's called The Realm of Shadows, of course, which also could be translated badly into The Veil of Shadows. The new level cap, they both say the same thing at 120. The new zones, this is Kelturus, which has two zones in it. Borlarus and Crestfall, or Borlalus, maybe, however you want to say that, with an alliance capital named Balor. It talks about the Dragon Isles again, and again, the Dragon Isles is something that dates back to Classic. I don't think it was called the Dragon Isles, but there was supposed to be a zone in Classic called, I think it was the Dragon Shore. It may have been the Dragon Isles or the Dragon Lands that never got released. And actually, you can see it. It's still there by Quel'Tha Loss. It would have two big and one small island with a neutral capital city called Dragonfall, which sounds really cool. They talk about Northern Lordaeron, which is the Northern Plague Lands and the Black Lands, with the capital city for the Horde called Windrunner Citadel. It sounds really cool for Horde players. It says there's no new races, sub-races, or new classes. But it says that there will be a studio style. So there'll be more customizations for each character, which, again, the other one sort of mentioned as well. It says that artifact weapons will not be making a return, but more of a create your own weapon. So if you decide as a mage you don't want to use a staff, you can use a sword and an offhand. If that's true, it's a huge feat. Um, it, it I guess it wouldn't be too difficult, but again, the Blizzard art, they would have a lot more to do. They can do it though. They've proven that they can. They talked about shadow powers to enhance your existing skills from powers from the realm of shadow. It says there are crafted weapons in the big new feature that work together. So every crafted main hand weapon has two performance enhancing and one utility slot. So I guess those would be more relic slots. And two-handed would have three and two utilities, which I don't know if that's going to work out too well. But it goes on here for a list of things, and it sounds like they're basically just new relic slots. So like it'll enhance your current abilities with something else, which sounds pretty cool. It says the main heroes is Jaina Proudmoore. After leaving Delaron during the Legion invasion, Jaina is heading back to Kelturus to call for help from her home nation. She planned to build an army of the Kelturus navy to fight the Legion at the Broken Shore, but she gets interrupted when she finds her homelands to be infested by some kind of disease. All of Kelturus is under a shadowy appearance, and the people are insane, and they don't trust anybody. She heads back to the Alliance to call for help. Sylvanas Windrunner, after her setback during Legion, she's still obsessed with creating new members of her race. In favor of doing so, she travels to the Northern Plague Lands after Helia told her that she could find some ancient shrines there, which will help in creating the new undead. She finds the lands desecrated and left by the Scourge, but another enemy has taken over. She finds shadows in the undead of another new zone, the Black Lands, which are bound to a yet unknown place called the Realm of Shadows, which is a place granted by Helia. When she enters the ancient ruin that was abandoned during the Black Empire, which sounds really cool. She finds a scroll along with forgotten rituals that give her access to the Realm of Shadows, where she thinks she can find a way to create more of her own. Performing the ritual, she rips apart the borders between the normal world and the Realm of Shadows. Shadowy creatures are invading Azeroth through rifts that spawn over Azeroth. This would sort of incline with, I think it was, she died 3 times. I guess you could say her first death was, of course, off when she died by Arthas's hands. Second death when she plummeted herself off the cliff of Icecrown, and the third death, of course, being when her 3 resurrected Gilneans stabbed her in the back. So she did die, and that she would be the one to rip open the realm. It makes sense. It's actually seeming that this could actually have a lot more merit than the other one. Let's continue with Chromie. Chromie has taken over the leader of the Blonde's Dragonflight because Nozdormu is lost again. During her search for a Nozdormu, She explores a long-forgotten dragon island where North Dormu has a secret lair. She finds a bunch of time-lost eggs while observing North Dormu's lair. The dragon and the in-flight dragon are interrupting and attacking her. She teleports out of the lair and discovers that Morozon has taken North Dormu's lair and creating more of his kind. The main villains, of course, would be N'Zoth, the god of the deep. God hiding in the rift of On and freed by Sylvanas performing the ancient ritual. Ajara, which is herald of the god of the deep, attacked Kel'Thros and manipulating the citizens. Shadow Morozond, which is no final name, is a twisted version of North Dormu altered ego Morozond, infested by dark whispers. The Lich King and the Scourge will make their move in the Realm of Shadows and Northern Lordaeron. The story isn't developed as of now, but Sylvanas and the Scourge clash another time where she wants revenge for all the things the Scourge have brought upon her. The Alliance and the Horde will face different enemies. Alliance will fight the Naga and the Old God Servants. Horde are fighting the Scourge and the Old God Servants. Alliance and Horde then reach the Dragon Islands and fight the Infinite Dragonflight, plus the Old God Servants. So this is all coming really true. Let's continue on with this. Not much known about the new raids, the Realm of Shadows, place of the Naga Empress, the 7 dungeons, the North Dormu lair on Dragon Isles, the final boss being Shadow Morozon. And I'm talking really fast, I apologize, but this is a lot to get through. And but there's not too much else. The PvP, of course, would be one new arena called the Ruins of the Black Empire, and one new battleground called the Docks of Balor. Kind of hope that's reversed. I'd like a battleground where we actually get to see some old god structures. I'd really love that. They said there would not be an announcement at Gamescom, just a very short teaser. Blizzard planned to do a Gamescom announcement. It seems like they decided in the last weeks that it's better to keep it for BlizzCon because they're very satisfied with how Unleashed unfolds. And they have another big thing for Gamescom, which is not WoW related. Apparently, in this teaser trailer, you see Jaina heading towards Kultiras, where she finds her homeland to be sick and attacked by Naga. Returning to Anduin calling for help, Sylvanas traveling along abandoned parts of Lordaeron, finding the ancient ruins and performing a ritual that creates the rifts. In the end, you see a shadow of a massive creature with 8 tentacles and 3 red gleaming eyes. Of course, that would be N'Zoth. It'd be pretty cool. Of course, it a little bummed if it comes to light, but who knows? I just wanted to do this video just because I thought it'd be cool, interesting to see about these leaks. We're getting around that time of year where the leaks are becoming more prominent. You're going to see a lot more leaks, but I just wanted to go over the 2 that I thought were most interesting, which is the Veil of Shadows and the Realm of Shadows, just because they're both saying sort of the same thing, but they're from 2 different sources. This one was from a Chinese translation, and the other one was from apparently leaked website. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, with Magni Bronzebeard, the Magni Bronzebeard one, the scenario that leaked a few days ago, kind of showed that, yeah, maybe he's not hearing the whispers of Azrothian. It's actually N'Zoth. Really cool to see. Again, there's issues with this one as well as the other one. There's less issues with this one. This one seems a little bit more finalized. Of course, there's a couple things that they have in common. There's a couple differences. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And until next time, guys, I will see you later. Oh, who knows? Come on, game. Just get like something good once in a while. Here we go, baby. Here we go. In for it. There we go. Special edition. Why is it locked? Oh, it must unlock Spark. That's okay. Add that to favorite. Look at her. That's cool. I got a special edition.